but we can't laugh about how we're just like obsessed with aliens and that's all we do is talk about them. I mean, that's hilarious. Sorry. I don't know where I was going there. Oh yeah, that's where I was going. Head to the official home of the Space Chicken, www.ufozone. People told me to slow down when I said this. UFOzone, ZONE, .ning, NING.com. www.ufozone.ning.com. Hopefully that was slow enough. And if it wasn't, well, catch up. I hate slowing down. It's not my thing. You know, only so many hours in a day to learn about aliens. But yeah, swing on over there and check it out. Even if you're not listening to this show live, if you're catching a replay of it, or whatever time you're listening to it. But if you're listening live, thank you very much, first off, for showing up live. I tremendously appreciate it. I genuinely do with all my heart. I had so many people show up last week just to listen to the show on its first episode live out of the gates. I think that was so freaking cool. It was, to be honest, and I hate to be all sappy, especially when I'm just talking about aliens, but there was a long time in my life, my whole life, I suppose, where I was just really embarrassed about this, and I didn't think that anyone would ever understand other than my wife if I talked to them about it. And what ended up happening was I opened up about this, and I've made more friends in the last few months than I've ever had in my entire life. And it was kind of overwhelming because I didn't really realize it until the first show, and I saw the overwhelming support of the Space Chickens as they showed up just to be there for my first live broadcast. And man, guys, that's so cool. I don't expect you to do that every week. I know it's an ungodly hour. I had a couple people that missed class, and probably a few called in sick to work the next day because of it, which is awesome. You know, class at school is a glorified hamster wheel. If any kids are listening, I tell my kids all this all the time, that, you know, they've just got you guys running around in circles in there, just so you know, just teaching you how to be like everybody else, and that's lame. And the work thing is really overrated. I've been unemployed for about a year now, and it's not really as bad as it seems. The lack of money thing is difficult at times, that's for freaking sure. But you know what? It is survivable. It's like people think being poor is a fatal condition, and it's not. It's actually, I'm happier now than I've ever been. I truly think there's a direct correlation with the amount of money that you have and how happy you are. I've had several friends that have boatloads of money. I left all them behind. I left all my old friends behind. I made new ones as soon as the aliens came up. I'm sure you guys can understand why. I've had a lot of money at one point in my life. And yeah, there's challenges being completely broke, which we are. But that said, I'm genuinely happier than I've ever been in my entire life. I actually realized that within this last week here. I was just sitting and thinking about it. Like, you know, I'm happier than I've ever been. And that's freaking awesome. That's incredible, and I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of being happy at this point. You know, is that cheesy? I don't think so. I think that's what we should all be doing, right? Don't you think? I had somebody encourage me to start quoting myself not too long ago, a good friend of mine down in New Zealand. And he's probably listening to the show right now. I sure hope so. But he started encouraging me to quote myself, which was a bad idea. I mean, it was a good idea for me. I'm loving doing it, but I'm kind of long-winded to begin with, which is a good quality if you have a radio show, but a bad quality, you know, pretty much across the board otherwise because you annoy the hell out of people. But I wonder if I can say other cuss words. I think we're in safe harbor. I'll have to check on that because I might say words worse than hell if I can. But anyway... Actually, it's really funny. I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but us DJs at this radio station, Party 93.4, we log on to this little DJ page, and it says right across the top, I laughed so hard when I saw it, do not say, and then it says, it actually spells it out, the F word. Like, like the world's going to come to an end if I say it. But it says, do not say the F word on air under any circumstances. Like, thanks for the note, guys. That's against the rules, huh? Well... Oh, just kidding. I almost said it. I just thought it was funny. People in radio are kind of not the brightest bulbs in the box, but they're a good bunch. But a reminder of that. No matter what you do, don't say the F word. All right, guys, no problem. Is that all? Yep, that's it. All right. That was literally the only note on the entire page. I thought it was great. Good advice, though. Truly good advice. But But anyway, when we get back, I'm going to go into some interesting stuff. It's just me yapping on the show, so hopefully that's not a disappointment for too many people. Like I said, we plan on having Chris next week here, Chris Ritter of the band Crash. I'm really looking forward to talking to him about chemtrails. And as I say that, they're dumping them right over my house right now. And if you think chemtrails are not real, look up, for crying out loud. I don't know if it's like this everywhere or just along the Front Range of Colorado where I reside, but it's absolutely ridiculous. These planes just drop these enormous clouds of God knows what, and they spread into like this white haze, and it happens every freaking day. Like this morning was just gorgeous. I was up and about at about 8 o'clock and got out, just beautiful morning, look outside, plane dropping crap all over everybody. Like, God, man, would have been a beautiful cloudless day today. It's got to be funny on the weather people, because I would certainly hope as a meteorologist they notice this unusual activity, because it's entirely changing the weather. I mean, I don't know what it's doing in detail, but it's making overcast days in what used to be perfect. Oh, in Colorado we used to have these perfect crystal blue days, and now we've got just this crap coming down on us, and I don't know what it is, but it's just, I wonder what the weather people do. Like, well, it's going to be beautifully sunny with a 90% chance of chemtrails today, and we don't really know what that's going to do, but it's like they just ignore it entirely. I find that funny. Like, how do you do that as a meteorologist? Like, pretend that doesn't happen? I don't know. Maybe they think it's just regular airplane stuff too, which it's absolutely not. It's the most freaking ridiculous thing ever when people say that. Just be observant and watch. You know, this is one of the things I've observed being unemployed. Like I said, it's not as bad as you think, but I never ever noticed chemtrails before I was unemployed. I was so busy in my hamster wheel, I didn't even notice that planes were dropping tons of crap on us every day. So, you know, like I say, you don't have a job, but you're more aware of the world around you because you're off that hamster wheel. So, anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit about 2012 this show. I noticed that movie just came out today, and I'm going to rent it. And I hate doing it because it's such a stupid thing to do, because the movie is so... it's a freaking Hollywood movie. I mean, there's just enough truth in all of those freaking Hollywood movies to scare the bejesus out of everybody. But then it's just twisted so bad. So I guess I'll talk about that. You know what else I'll talk about? I'll talk about that movie, The Fourth Kind. Great movie. If you like to see things completely bass-ackwards. That's what that movie was. It was... I'm going to explain what was going on in that movie, because that video that they showed on that movie was absolutely real, a lot of it. The video of the people freaking out and stuff like that. It's real. It's Alien that said it was the wrong alien group that they were trying to pin for that nonsense. And when the religious people get freaked out about the demons, that's what you were looking at there. They just basically we'll talk about that later. So we'll talk a little bit about movies and all that. We'll talk about The Day After Tomorrow. Boy, isn't the weather starting to look like The Day After Tomorrow, honestly? It's freaking ridiculous. It snowed in all 50 states so far. These earthquakes have everything to do with 2012 that have been going on lately. And gosh, what a bunch of tragedies. So I hate to get into some of the more negative things like that, but it is something I want to try to educate people about a little bit. It's information that I've gotten from my friends, the aliens, which if you're a religious person that freaks you out, don't freak out. These are the angels. Really, if we look at the root word of it, it hasn't really gone all that far, has it? No, aha. See, it all makes sense. I got an email from somebody today, from a guy in Egypt. First person I've talked to in the Middle East. And first thing I did was apologize for all the nonsense that's going on over there involving my country. And that's as political as I'm going to get, but that's the first thing I did to him. And he was kind of funny. He's like, don't worry about it. It's the same way here. You know, we've had our fair share of invasions too. Like, no problem, buddy. It's not our country anyway, right? I'll bet in Iraq you would tell me something different. But anyway, he was funny. He was saying our slave machines over here are well-oiled, and they are here in the U.S. too.